Hey everyone, this is Joseph from Australian Chess, and we're playing the next computer in the series. This time we're playing Nelson, and we'll start with 1d4. Let's see what Nelson has. Okay, e6. So this gives white the option of transposing back into a French defense if white wants to play e4, controlling more of the center that way. Another alternative is to play c4, and go into a Queen's Gambit declined, or an Imzo Indian, or some other setup. I'm going to play c4 and stick with the d4 spirit. Okay, this move is not a theoretical move. Whatever Nelson is doing, Nelson is being very sneaky and trying to attack us early on. However, early queen moves shouldn't be something that you are scared of. You don't need to be afraid of them in a lot of cases. And the reason for that is because white can develop their pieces, and we all know developing pieces is good in the opening, and we can do that with tempo. So the first move that comes to mind is a simple move, knight f3. It attacks the queen. Queen is not doing anything on h4 square. It's not actually threatening anything, and we get to develop a piece with tempo. So let's go ahead and do that. And black has just given us 2 free moves to do whatever we want. White is already much better here. I'm going to use that time to develop my knight and see what black wants to do. Okay, so now we essentially have a Queen's Gambit position where white is up 2 tempos. There's a lot of moves. And I'm going to make full use of that by striking in the center. Usually in the Queen's Gambit, you're not allowed to do that, or you're not able to do that, because black has enough pieces developed. So usually black will have a knight on here, for example, which would stop us from playing e4. But I'm going to make full use of the fact that black has given us 2 free moves by moving their queen to h4 and back, and take as much space in the center as I can. Okay, so we're definitely out of theory here, and I don't know exactly what to do, but I'm looking at some options where we get developed really quickly and we try and infiltrate black's position. So if we give black enough time, they're going to develop their pieces, and the fact that they wasted 2 moves at the start is going to become less and less important the more time that we allow black to solidify their position. So I get the feeling that we should be striking soon. So let's look at the captures first. Takes, 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 takes. And I can't actually take 3 times because black somehow has enough pieces on it. Another option is takes, 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 and push. That looks okay, but closing things up generally gives black more time, so I'm not convinced by that. Takes, takes. I mean, just taking anything just feels like it's letting black off a little bit. I'm really tempted by this move. Maybe even knight e5. Although knight e5 is not a developing move and it doesn't actually threaten anything. Although is there knight e5 and then somehow queen f3, queen h5? Probably not. It's probably just doing exactly what black did to us, in fact. I'm going to go with my instinct, play my bishop out. Let's see how black wants to handle this. Okay, taking that, I mean, this can't be good. Can't be good for black. Gonna recapture. Okay, this, I just get the feeling that black should be lost here. That's probably too extreme already, but a6, it's just black really needs to be getting their pieces out, like make a developing move somewhere, get the knight out, get the bishop out. I don't know. Oh, bishop there maybe. I'm looking at this move here and then getting a piece to d6. That does look very strong. What other options do I have? Is there a knight here maybe? Trying to get my knight into here. It's a bit slow. So bishop here. Again, bishop block. Not very effective. I really like this move. c5. Because it allows us to get a piece here. Now what piece do I want here? Do I want a knight or do I want a bishop? If I move my bishop here, then what I want black to do is takes. Oop. So bishop here, bishop takes, knight takes. That would be perfect. I'd love it if I get a knight here. If I start with knight here, bishop takes, and bishop here, that also looks very, very nice. The only issue is if I play bishop here, then black is not forced to take. Let's say knight develops, bishop takes, queen takes, and knight here. That looks very, very strong. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'd love to get a knight on this square. I don't even think black is trying. King takes. Wow. Alright, black is just testing me here. Black voluntarily gives up his right to castle. I'm looking at moves like knight in, even getting my queen in somehow. That would be great. Knight here is interesting, although maybe there's push. I could probably already start to think about sacrificing things to rip things open. Knight here cannot be bad. Maybe there's knight here to here, but this just feels terrible. Maybe queen here to here could be strong. Then king f8 and oh well, king f8, then I can take the queen. I'll play queen here. See what black does. King f8 immediately. Okay. Now I'm looking at queen here, followed up with either knight here, or even knight here. So queen here, then knight blocks. I get the impression this is going to be harder to put away than it first seems. Just looks incredibly solid. I mean, incredibly good for white. And yet, it's hard to see where the knockout blow is exactly. Since I'm not sure what to play, I'm just going to make a developing move. Wow. Okay, this is actually probably a defensive move from black, and it's probably not that bad, because at some point black might play b6 and defend this way. However, now this piece is undefended. So if I play queen f4, I'm actually attacking the knight. I love the look of queen f4 here. And black goes back with their rook. How is this not winning? I'm looking at knight here, knight here, knight here. Maybe this is the problem. There's just too many choices and I can't decide. I'm going to start with knight here. So threatening checkmate. f6. That's not a move I expected. I've got a funny move. Knight here. And the idea is that black can't take either of my knights. And knight here, it threatens knight here or knight here. It is a bit risky though, because if knight here and let's say the king moves somewhere, I don't know where, maybe here or here, then both my knights are going to be hanging. probably a bit too dramatic. A bit unnecessary. Another thing I could do is just bring my knight in here. That can't be a bad move. Knight here. Or I could just get castled. Seems a bit slow, but it does bring a rook into the attack. G4, G5. Even if I take here though, what does it achieve? Maybe I do want to attack this pawn. Knight here. So the line that I'm looking at, knight here, king here. And then both my knights are hanging. Can I go knight here? Pawn takes. Okay, that doesn't look great. I would love to have a rook on the e file or on the d file. I'll just start with getting my rook here. It does defend the d4 pawn, which was hanging at some point. Oh, hanging in some variations, that is. Okay, I think black is aiming for this square. Aiming for the d5 square. What I didn't notice is that after knight here, I am just attacking this square with both my knights. So I think this is a strong move. Aiming for this square. So black defends. Black is still hanging on. For now. I could continue just to get my pieces in. I'm wondering about rerouting my knight to here to put more pressure here. Because at some point I will need to move this knight. Like even if I get a rook here, I want to pressure this point. So I'm wondering if it's worth rerouting my knight here to do that. Maybe I could play knight here to trade off this knight. Takes, takes. And this does put more pressure on that as well. Although there may be pawn push. Takes, takes. Black is getting trades. I don't really want to trade pieces since I'm attacking. G4 now makes more sense than it did before, because G5 would be a threat. G4, does black have G5 themselves? Maybe. But, worst case scenario, move my queen back and then I'll play H4 later on. Let's try this. Okay, so this is where we need to move our knight, because the reason why black couldn't take it previously was because the pawn was pinned and black has unpinned themselves. So it's now time to move the knight. Alternatively, I might be able to play this move. Takes. Opening up this looks quite strong, but it is sacrificing a pawn. Is that necessary? Well, it could be very strong. Oh, hold on. Black just takes my knight, and I can't take back because then my queen hangs. So I will move my knight back. But it does feel like I'm getting pushed back here, and black is playing very well. This is the difficulty of playing computers. They can be very strong when they choose to be, but when the difficulty level is strong enough. So I'm going to try G5, see how the computer responds. Interesting. It should be a strong move from black. Trying to get rid of my strong knight here. If I take here, what will black do? I think taking here is a good move. So I'm looking at 2 lines. 1, queen takes. We can have a queen trade, and then I can take this bishop, and then finally I'll take this pawn in the end. Keep in mind, even if we win a pawn, I mean, yes, sure, our attack is gone, but we're still up a pawn. Our position is still perfectly good. We've been developing our pieces as we go. So worst case scenario, we can still just say, hey, our attack didn't work, but we've won a pawn. That's still pretty decent. The other line is pawn takes and then pawn takes, but then the g file is open, and that's when our attack can continue. So I like this move. I'm expecting queen takes, yep. And actually, in saying all that, even after the queen trade, we can still use this g file to attack black's king. But the line I was looking at was takes, takes, and taking this pawn, which I like the look of. Because this is also attacking the rook and pinning the knight. Okay. I actually don't like the look of rook check, because when the king moves, we've helped black to unpin themselves. I prefer the look of a move like rook here, maybe? I mean, or we could just move the bishop back somewhere, let's say here. That also looks decent. There's also bishop here. I mean, maybe we even take many options. Okay, I'm gonna play this one. I don't love the idea of giving black the control of this file. Okay, so black unpins themselves. I'm very impressed with how black has gotten out of that bad situation. If I get my knight here, that could be very strong. I also want to get my king up a little bit. Maybe here. Here. Let's play king here. I would love my king to go here. Just defending everything. Black is improving their knight. I think black's idea is to go here, and the idea is if takes takes, then it's kind of hard for me to progress my pawns. But still, I am a pawn up, and I can try and go for a breakthrough like this. Another thing I could do is go for this. I think let's go for that. Okay, black's attacking that pawn. I'm going to defend it. Black is being very resourceful here. Very resourceful. I really don't want to give up this bishop, because then it loses control of these squares. So I'm going to retreat my bishop. Okay, I like seeing that. I'll be happy to trade, I think. And then get my rook on this e-file. This e-file is very important this game. I don't want black to take this square. I think I'll bring my knight in. I'm gonna kick this knight away. H3, interesting. So attacking this pawn. And also allowing for his knight to come into here. If I play knight here, then I'm threatening a fork. Tricky. I'll try this. Knight f4. Okay. Now my question is, what happens after rook here? I guess black is trying to get a knight here. I really don't want to allow that. So rook e4, knight here, takes. Yeah, I don't want to allow that. I'm actually just going to trade the knights. And I'm really tempted by the move rook here. I know it gives up the e file, but my idea is after pawn push, if knight here, I can just go takes, and takes. Then the rook comes back. I'm up 2 pawns, but black has activity there. Although I can go rook here, and that looks very solid. So I'm actually going to start with the move a3 and then go down that same variation, transposed. So I'll take the knight first and then attack the pawn this way and take the pawn. I'm going to attack this pawn, attack the pawn, take the pawn. So notice that we're up enough material here that if we ever trade rooks, white is going to be winning the pawn endgame. So it's a very important thing to ask yourself or to keep in mind when you're playing this type of endgame is, can we trade pieces? I'm going to play this check because my pawns are guarding these squares in front of the king, and it forces the king to go backwards, which means that afterwards we can just take this pawn here. I mean, I can also just push the pawn as well. That looks very strong. If I take, then these pawns are undoubled, whereas if I push, then they'll go ahead together. So I'm actually just going to push these pawns, I think. Just looking at this move here. I don't think that should be that scary. If takes and this move, I guess that's also a move. I'm just going to keep them like this, and now I'm quite happy. I think I can play pawn push, and if rook h6, then that is actually checkmate, so that's fine. Having 2 pawns here is so strong. I'm actually thinking I can just bring my king up. But let's see, what's the most forcing variation? Pawn push, king can go here or here, and I guess there's no direct follow-up. If I have my king around the area, that will be very helpful. So I'm going to get my king in. Okay, check, it doesn't matter. And black has to go back. To avoid checkmate, I'm going to take this pawn. And now this is a fork. And checkmate is going to come very soon. And is this checkmate? Is this a pawn checkmate? I think it might be. There we go. That was an enjoyable checkmate. Always nice to end with a pawn checkmate on the second rate. And we've got a doubled pass pawn right here. Very strong. Very nice ending. And yeah, I enjoyed the game. Hope you did too. I'll see you in the next one.